PinkPantheress noises, let's talk about.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
How y'all doing? Welcome to Let's Talk About Music Reviews Season 11. How y'all doing? Welcome to the show. Guys, it's another night episode. It's another night goddamn vibe. I'm so happy to be doing another PinkPantheress review, guys. We're doing a whole marathon this week, and this is the second song we're checking out. Now, I teased it in the last episode. I said I was going to go over this one song that has actually a sample from an artist that we used to cover way back in the day. I'm talking, in the COVID times. I'm talking about the 2020s, right in the beginning, right in the hall. And that is this song right here, which is sampling Nardo Wick, which is, man, I mean, look, if you're going to sample a rapper, you might as well sample one of the hottest ones from the 2020 era, Nardo Wick. Honestly, guys, I'll just say it now. We're just going to get into the review right now. Let's just start off talking about this sample and this beat. I think this is a really good way to use a sample. Now, look, I mean, is this beat really that groundbreaking? I mean, maybe not, but I think this beat has some really good layers to it. Starting off with this kind of drum and bass, high-tempo drums, they really...
Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. 3 couples, 4 vacations, a lot to unpack. Watch The 4 Seasons, a new series starring comedy favorites Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Will Forte, Coleman Domingo, and more in a hilarious and heartfelt love letter to long-term relationships. Based on the original Alan Alda film. Watch The 4 Seasons, streaming now only on Netflix.
Come through on this track, they really show out. I love how they sound on this track. The vibe is definitely there. Also, adding all these little sound effects in the background, these little effects, these little background vocals really doing their thing, really showing out. It's like your grandma making a homemade chicken pot pie and, adding a little something new to it. And you're like, wow, Grandma, this tastes a little better than, what it usually tastes like. And she goes, oh yeah, I just put some, some extra garlic, or this time I fried the chicken and I cut it up and I put it in the chicken pot pie. Just little subtle changes that can make the song really stand out and really make it go, all right, I want to listen to this. I want this to keep repeating over and over and over again. You definitely get that on this song, and it really does definitely show out. I really do enjoy that. Now, not everything's the beat, guys, so let's move on and talk about the first verse from PinkPantheress. Now, I really like this vocal style that she's using here. Kind of reminds me of some older pop songs. I'm not going to lie, this, vocal style, this, this, melodic auto-tune, kind of it feels like the singing is, being played in a tunnel.
This episode is brought to you by Factor. Optimize your nutrition this year with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal service. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved, ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Choose from 40 weekly options across 8 dietary preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Eat smarter at factormeals.com/listen50 and use code LISTEN50 for 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Factormeals.com/listen50, code LISTEN50. T's and C's apply.
Lights, camera, innovation. Walt Disney Studios chose advanced 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business to transform the movie-making process. Together, we kept a remote production hub in Hawaii in sync with a team in California to bring Lilo and Stitch to theaters this summer. This is picture-perfect collaboration. This is Walt Disney Studios with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
Like, that's what it feels like when you're listening to it. And I think that vocal style really works. It really comes through. It really shows out. And also, too, it kind of reminds me of, some Charlie XCX songs that I've checked out recently with this new, with their newer deluxe album, whatever, having these more vocals that, kind of feel like they're being pulled through a tunnel. And I remember a long time ago, I was trying to remember what rapper it was, it's been such a long time. But I think it was, I think it was Lil Sky, or Lil Skies, a rapper like that, one of the SoundCloud rappers that, made a song that, had the tunnel, had the tunnel vocals throughout the whole damn song. And I remember listening to that song and not really enjoying the tunnel vocals. This is like how you do that tunnel vocal style, but actually right, and actually, make it sound good. I also like the fact that, there's these little pockets of flow switches, and there's also these little pockets of also vocal switch ups too. So that's a really nice thing that's in this track. It's just kind of baked in, which is really fun to listen to. So yeah, and then, that's going to move on to the hook. Now, this is where the song is definitely in that kind of basic category, I guess you could say. I do love the fact that these synths get really luscious, they really rise up. These drums get a little bit more heavy when the hook comes on, so that's really entertaining too. Now look, you could say this is basic, this is really taking the Glorilla route, this is really taking the, the Jack Harlow hook route, just kind of letting the hook, be the main show of the hook, be the main star here. So sometimes that can work, guys, and like I'm gonna say, sometimes this can work, like some Glorilla tracks. Glorilla tracks, she be letting the sample do its thing on the hook, and that shit goes absolutely fire. Jack Harlow does absolutely nothing with any of his goddamn samples, and you get the Jack Harlow experience. Does PinkPantheress actually use it to her full extent? Now, I would say yes or no. I really like the fact that, PinkPantheress comes into the end to really add her own twist to it, add a little bit of a, I guess you could say, a British accent to it, which is kind of funny. But there is kind of nothing else.
At Sephora, we've got what you want because you're obsessed with your skin, and we're obsessed with what it needs. Sephora has the best products to help you get beautiful, glowing, radiant skin. With an extensive, inclusive range of results-driven formulas and in-store beauty advisors to help you find exactly which are right for you, the best skincare is only at Sephora. Sephora, for all your skincare.
Shopping is hard.
I can never find anything in my size.
I don't even know my size.
I buy my clothes the same place I buy my groceries.
There's a better way. Make it easy with Stitch Fix. Just share your size, style, budget, and done. Your personal stylist sends pieces picked just for you.
That was easy.
Stitch Fix. Online personal styling for everyone. Free shipping and returns. No subscription required. Get started today at StitchFix.com.
We're kind of just letting Nardo Wick, saying what the fuck is that? And, that's kind of it. So the hook is pretty basic, but I think all of the elements of having that sample, having those luscious synths, these luscious chords really come through the track, having those elements too, and adding this kind of rising factor, and also, having all these little backgrounds, it makes this sample hook not feel like it's wasting my time, not feeling like they just stole or ripped off a Nardo Wick song. No, this is taking a little bit of a Nardo Wick, little clip and, turning it into something completely different, which I'm always going to advocate for. I'm always, going to say, hell yeah. Hell goddamn yeah. Keep goddamn doing that, because Lord goddamn mighty, guys, I'm so tired of artists just, using a really good sample, using, a sample, and then that's just kind of it. This is kind of using the sample and, crafting a little bit of a different listening experience. So yeah, I think Noises has that. Now, I will say this, I think Noises is a little bit too short. I mean, this is under a 2-minute song, which, you know, how I feel about under 2-minute songs, even if they're good or not. If it's under 2 minutes, man, you know, it's really, really dragging by. It's really, you know, I can't give it too much credit because the song is over in an instant. But I think, you know, the elements that were there really came through, really showed out. So overall, guys, when we talk about this PinkPantheress song, Noises, I really enjoy that beat, really enjoy the sample. The hook really came through, absolutely. Then PinkPantheress having a really good verse. Great vocals, too, using that kind of tunnel vocal style, but actually, you know, doing well with it. Actually really...
We off? 30 seconds of carefree bliss. Oof, like wind in your hair carefree. Oh, like using Clorox Disinfecting All-Purpose Cleaner in the home carefree. Yes! Like dog slobbing on the coffee table and cleaning it with Clorox Carefree? He's on a roll now. Spit toothpaste on the faucet. You got it. You got it. Peanut butter on the light switch. Oh, spritz, spritz. Spritz, spritz. Clorox, man. Clean feels good.
Okay, we're back. Use as directed.
Morning decisions. A creamy mocha frappuccino drink? A sweet vanilla? Maybe a smooth caramel or that white chocolate mocha. Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Start your day with bottled Starbucks Frappuccino drinks. Pick up a bottle near you wherever you buy your groceries.
Sounding good. The little vocal switch-ups that she just has on here, the little moments of different singing, just absolutely hits, guys. So overall, I really enjoyed this track. I'm going to easily give it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10, guys. What you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I don't know. Let me know, guys. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow, turn on notifications, guys. We're dropping new content every day, and we got a couple of more PinkPantheress reviews before we do the big mixtape review, the big old review. So we got one more left, and then I'm going to talk about the whole last mixtape. So make sure you follow, because, guys, we are coming out with more reviews, and they're coming out pretty goddamn soon. So make sure you follow up, guys. Go check out this song. Check out the whole mixtape. It's only like 20 minutes long, guys. Go check out that whole ass mixtape, too. I'll see you later. You have a good one. Bye.